The foundation of WWE's most enduring narratives hinges not only on the shock of betrayal or the ecstasy of victory, but on the resonance of legacy when measured against time itself. John Cena's record-breaking 17th world title win at WrestleMania 41 carried an aura of inevitability, yet its aftermath has exposed an uncomfortable truth about modern WWE storytelling: the fixation on milestone moments at the expense of long-term character evolution. Cena's heel turn, aligned with The Rock and executed through the dismantling of Cody Rhodes, electrified the fanbase because of its sheer audacity. Yet audacity alone is not sustainability. If WWE intends to preserve Cena's shocking transformation and foster credible main event narratives in the post-Roman Reigns era, Randy Orton defeating John Cena at Backlash is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the correction that must balance spectacle with authenticity, history with future. Randy Orton represents an anomaly in WWE lore. For over 2 decades, he has remained at the forefront of WWE's hierarchy, not through relentless reinvention, but through subtle recalibration. His legend killer persona evolved into the Viper, later morphing into a calculated manipulator who thrived by weaponizing timing and minimalism, rather than grandstanding promos. The irony now is thick. John Cena, who built his career on unwavering loyalty and saccharine virtue, has descended into villainy just as Orton organically transitioned into a respected, crowd-endorsed icon. Their roles have inverted, and it is Orton, not Cena, who possesses the narrative momentum to define WWE's immediate future. At Backlash in St. Louis, the context is even more crucial. Orton performing in front of a home state crowd guarantees an emotional investment that transcends standard pay-per-view expectations. The symbolism of Orton toppling Cena in his backyard would not merely be fan service, it would be the culmination of decades of parody. Their careers have been intertwined since 2002, with each man holding significant victories over the other in Iron Man matches, last man standing bouts, and world title contests. Yet for all their history, Cena has frequently been positioned as the ultimate conqueror, the man who overcame Orton when stakes were highest. Backlash offers WWE an organic chance to rectify that imbalance by allowing Orton to finally claim decisive superiority in their rivalry's twilight. Moreover, Cena's current heel persona thrives on desperation masked as dominance. His partnership with The Rock, laced with corporate undertones and mainstream crossover appeal, renders him vulnerable to an exposed truth. Cena is not the unstoppable force he once portrayed. His reliance on Travis Scott's interference at WrestleMania 41, his bitter promos about ungrateful fans, and his repeated dodges of Orton's direct challenges all paint the portrait of a man clinging to relevance rather than rewriting history. If WWE leans into that vulnerability, an Orton victory becomes a logical narrative crescendo. Beating Cena clean in St. Louis doesn't weaken Cena. It sharpens his heel edge, deepens his bitterness, and catalyzes further storylines where Cena lashes out even more aggressively to compensate for the defeat. From a business standpoint, WWE stands at an inflection point in 2025. With Roman Reigns working a reduced schedule post-Mania and Cody Rhodes temporarily written off television following Cena's assault, the company's main event scene requires transitional figures who can both anchor marquee matches and elevate younger stars. Randy Orton fits that mold far better than a part-time, egotistical Cena clinging to the championship. An Orton win legitimizes him as a final boss-type babyface who can elevate emerging talent through competitive, credible feuds. Cena retaining or escaping with the title prolongs an unsustainable booking pattern, wherein nostalgia outweighs narrative coherence. WWE's post-TKO merger landscape demands a balance between maximizing legacy stars and building tomorrow's pillars. Orton defeating Cena decisively accelerates that balance. The match itself is an opportunity to tell a story that transcends the ring. Orton's in-ring psychology, methodical pacing, surgical targeting of body parts, sudden bursts of violence, contrast beautifully with Cena's current brawling heavy, shortcut-laden style. The visual of Orton countering Cena's 5-knuckle shuffle with a snap power slam or reversing an attitude adjustment into an RKO will evoke the kind of crowd reactions that few modern WWE matches reliably deliver. Beyond the moves, though, is the symbolism. Orton, patient and calculating, dismantling Cena's bloated arrogance with precision. A clean victory tells audiences that experience, patience, and authenticity still triumph over bluster and manufactured dominance. It validates the fanbase's investment in long-term characters, while reinforcing WWE's ability to evolve its narratives beyond shock value moments. There's also an undeniable emotional undercurrent here. Randy Orton's career resurgence after multiple back injuries and a career-threatening spinal fusion has endeared him to a fan base that once booed his calculated villainy, not because of nostalgia alone, but because audiences recognize the rarity of a star who endured decades of physical toll and backstage turbulence to remain relevant. Cena defeating Orton at Backlash would not generate heel heat. It would alienate fans who are organically behind Orton's final ascent. WWE's most successful heel runs, Triple H in 2000, CM Punk in 2012, Roman Reigns in 2021 worked because the babyfaces opposite them were sympathetic and resilient. Orton, as the battle-worn veteran, overcoming career-threatening odds, fits that archetype. Cena, denying him in his hometown would feel less like provocative booking and more like tone-deaf sabotage. WWE's creative resurgence depends on restoring the concept of consequences. For years, Cena was booked impervious to sustained defeat. Losses to AJ Styles, Roman Reigns, or The Fiend were framed as anomalies quickly erased by comeback wins. By allowing Orton to defeat Cena cleanly at Backlash, WWE signals to its audience that heel Cena is not invincible, and that credible challengers exist who can derail him. This opens pathways for future feuds. A humiliated Cena doubling down on villainy could target rising stars like Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker, or even a returning Cody Rhodes with renewed sadism. The loss doesn't end Cena's story, it deepens it. The international optics are equally important. WWE's current global expansion strategy under the TKO umbrella emphasizes premium live events in regions like Australia, Saudi Arabia, and the UK. Randy Orton, as champion or top contender, coming off a victory against Cena, is a more appealing global ambassador than a heel Cena clutching to power with backstage allies. Orton's international appeal has quietly surged over the last decade. His RKO finisher is a viral meme recognized far beyond wrestling fandom, and his matches with global stars like Edge and Jeff Hardy resonate strongly in markets WWE is targeting. Positioning Orton as a triumphant veteran offers a fresh, exportable narrative WWE can leverage in international tours and media appearances. WWE also benefits structurally from giving Orton the win in terms of locker room morale. In an era where younger stars are constantly told to wait their turn, seeing a respected veteran like Orton rewarded for loyalty and longevity sets a positive precedent. Cena, a part-timer nearing retirement, doesn't require more accolades to cement his legacy. Orton's victory, and the subsequent rub he can give younger talent as a transitional champion or top contender, pays dividends in backstage goodwill and developmental motivation. It demonstrates that perseverance can still be rewarded without reliance on part-time nostalgia. Acts monopolizing marquee wins. The match outcome has ripple effects for the broader creative ecosystem. A victorious Orton can reignite rivalries with Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, or even Gunther, adding immediate freshness to a main event scene left fragile by Reigns' lighter schedule. Conversely, Cena absorbing a clean defeat forces his character to evolve beyond surface-level arrogance. His promos would sharpen, his alliances could fracture, and his desperation would intensify, creating a far richer heel character than one protected by constant title defenses. WWE thrives when its heels show cracks in their armor. Orton providing that crack accelerates creative opportunities that extend far beyond Backlash. Fan sentiment cannot be ignored either. The overwhelming cheers for Orton's RKO on Cena post-WrestleMania, the viral spread of his Rock's Bottom insult on SmackDown, and the sustained pops during house shows indicate that Orton is organically connecting in a way few veterans do this deep into their careers. WWE's historical failure to capitalize on such momentum, see Zack Ryder, Rusev Day, has eroded fan trust before. Backlash is WWE's chance to affirm that organic crowd reactions still matter. Letting Orton stand tall validates that trust and reestablishes a compact between promotion and audience that has been strained in recent years. Even the thematic arc of WWE history supports an Orton victory. Iconic babyfaces who cement their legacies often do so not by conquering titles perpetually, but by elevating others as they phase out of full-time competition. Bret Hart did it for Shawn Michaels. The Rock did it for Brock Lesnar. The Undertaker did it for Roman Reigns. Cena defeating Orton here would betray that tradition. Losing, in contrast, aligns Cena with the historical greats who understood that an all-time career is defined not just by wins, but by who you lose to and how. Orton deserves that acknowledgement, not as a courtesy, but as an earned reward for a career spent oscillating between excellence and reinvention. The very ethos of professional wrestling storytelling champions cycles of rise, fall, and redemption. Cena's heel turn initiated his fall. A Backlash loss sharpens that descent. Orton's resurgence marks a rise. WWE's richest narratives thrive when those cycles intersect at precisely the right time. Backlash 2025, with its confluence of legacy, location, and character trajectory, is precisely that time. Anything less compromises not only the feud's payoff, but the larger WWE ecosystem, struggling to balance nostalgia with evolution. Randy Orton's victory over John Cena at Backlash would not merely be a chapter in the chronicle of two generational rivals. It would be an inflection point capable of recalibrating WWE's trajectory across creative, business, and cultural dimensions. Orton's win would symbolize more than personal vindication. It would function as a strategic maneuver that restores competitive equilibrium in WWE's landscape. Such a triumph would reverberate through every layer of the company's infrastructure, creating ripple effects that catalyze growth, strengthen narratives, and reforge WWE's relationship with a discerning fan base hungry for logical and emotionally satisfying storytelling. Orton, as a figure who seamlessly bridges multiple eras, carries a narrative weight that no other contemporary superstar can replicate. His alignment with the Attitude Era's twilight, the ruthless aggression period's zenith, and the modern post-PG epic renders him uniquely credible as a standard-bearer. By defeating Cena cleanly at Backlash, Orton would not only cement his legacy as a definitive main event cornerstone, but also transmit legitimacy to the WWE product at large. His victory signals to lapsed fans who drifted away during Cena's dominance, or Roman Reigns' polarizing rise, that WWE still values long-term investment in multi-layered characters. Orton has always embodied layered villainy and nuanced heroism, and positioning him as the conqueror of Cena's tyrannical heel reign reasserts WWE's ability to honor its complex history without defaulting to cheap nostalgia or short-term spectacle. The immediate aftermath of Orton's win would unlock storyline avenues previously unavailable or stagnant. A victorious Orton becomes a gatekeeper, not in the stifling sense that plagued the company during its mid-2000s malaise, but in the dynamic, Bret Hart-like fashion, where younger talent can credibly ascend by standing toe-to-toe with him.